there is some power behind these guys. They are rowing as hard as they can, and believe it or not, we are moving pretty fast out here. Donald Trump here in La Crosse signing autographs to a crowd of over 1,000 people. He's telling Wisconsin voters if he wins in Wisconsin, it's all over. Crews arrived here just after 8. The back of this home was fully engulfed in flames. They are now unloading a robot that's going to go in there and investigate this suitcase. 3 residence halls have been evacuated. That's Angel Hall, Drake Hall, and Hutchinson Hall. As you can see, they have made progress. They've gotten the car this far. Now they're hooking up cables, working on pulling it onto shore. Voting is well underway here at the Southside Public Library. The city is working with developers. They hope to break ground this summer, and they hope the project will be done by year 2020. I don't know about you, but I know I am ready to light off a firework. You want to show me how this works? You bet. Fire in the hole! 5 shootings over the weekend have area residents on edge.
It's a little nerve-wracking, yes. I don't know really what's going on.
It's getting too dangerous.
Both Nikki Westland and Chris McKenney live in the Washburn neighborhood.
Saturday night, I came out to my car late to go get some heartburn medicine, and I seen the cops patrolling the area with guns pointed at everybody, and that didn't make me feel any better.
Westland says it might be time for her and her kids to move.
There are some really nice people who live in this neighborhood, and I love the neighborhood and the people, but I just, as a mom, I can't have my kids here.
The Washburn neighborhood falls into District 11. Their council member says the city is working on improvements.
I think it would be foolish to say that there are not problems in the neighborhood. However, it would be different if we were ignoring the problems and that saying that they're not there.
For the past 10 years, the city has been buying homes to rebuild. But over the last 2 years, they have ramped up those efforts. And the Washburn area is a major focus.
We buy dilapidated properties, we tear them down, and then we rebuild single-family owner-occupied homes.
Between Washburn and Powell-Polk-Hamilton neighborhoods, the city has acquired 20 properties in the last 2 years.
One of the keys to a really strong neighborhood is neighbors who live in their homes, who are permanent residents, who kind of keep an eye out on the neighborhood.
The new homes are meant to attract families to the area, hopefully reducing crime. But not everyone sees it as a solution.
It doesn't matter if you take down the houses and build other houses. You're still going to have crime.
Who's this?
Dad.
Is that Daddy?
Shelby Songer
Where are you going?
has her daddy's eyes. She has his smile and his infectious laugh. And while so much of Jason Songer is a part of her, she'll never know her dad.
Just shattering, life-shattering.
2 years ago today, Jason was driving his 1967 Mustang Fastback when a dump truck driver, intoxicated, crashed into his car and killed him. He and his wife, Alicia, were only married a few months.
Just feels like a piece of you just got ripped out.
But that next day, the Songers got an unexpected surprise.
Felicia came to the house the next day after the accident, and she gave us a home pregnancy test. And we were just tore up.
Jason never knew, but Shelby was on her way.
When I took the test, then I kind of dropped to my knees and was thankful, but scared and happy and sad and...
Here I come!
Now, at 16 months old, Shelby gives the Songers a little piece of Jason to hold on to.
If we hadn't had Shelby, I don't know what we would have done.
She brings sunshine and happiness. She gives me something to love.
In the midst of unimaginable grief. Looking at Shelby, the Songers can see their son.
Jason would have been such a wonderful father. He loved kids, and he would have taught her so much.
It's really hard to get through life without him.
I talk about him with her. Is that Daddy?
Yeah.
Yeah. She'll know who he is. And then here.
Yeah.
In the Crescent, Ginna Roe, WXOW News 19. Brittany, often when people think of the civil rights movement, iconic figures like Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and Rosa Parks come to mind. While their contributions are undoubtedly significant, too often the ordinary people who made an impact are forgotten. In Selma, I heard the emotional stories of the people who were the movement.
We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
This gospel hymn is forever ingrained in Reverend Frederick Douglass Reese's memory, just like the images of that infamous day in March of 1965.
I wasn't scared or frightened, maybe a little nervous, but not scared, because we had never had real violence or whatever against us at the time.
But that day,
we made a decision to go across that bridge and to encounter the difficulties that we could receive.
We were sure somebody was going to kill us. But once you lose the fear of death, everything is possible.
Linda Blackman Lowry was only 14 years old.
I didn't really understand the importance of voting or whatever. I really didn't. But I knew whatever it was, I wanted to be a part of it.
We're going to stand up amid anything that they can muster up.
Regardless of her age, she was inspired.
That we are determined to be free.
I ran into a cloud of tear gas, and that person was running behind me, hitting me. They had shaved the back of my head, and I had 28 stitches in the back of my head.
Even after being brutally beaten, she was determined to march all the way from Selma to Montgomery.
I wanted the governor to see my bandages, and I wanted him to know what he had done to me. A 14-year-old who hadn't done anything to anybody. He had to see me. He had to know what he had done.
And Governor Wallace did.
I still get teary-eyed and I still want to cry sometimes because it's still hard to think about being beaten up and being mistreated.
When you look back, you see the history of it. But when you're going through it, it's very contemporary for you and very real.
Many in the movement say they never expected to survive. Fear was real.
I sit here today thanking God for having brought me, somebody said, through many dangers, seen and unseen.
To know that I did something that people could appreciate 50 years later, and I'm still here to tell about it is just overwhelming.
Lowry's tears are tears of joy. Now she understands her story is bringing history home.
Overcome someday.
Winona police are investigating a reported shooting on Winona's West End around 1 this afternoon. News 19 was on scene. We spoke to police and they are not willing to comment tonight. The Winona Daily News is reporting that a man was shot in the abdomen at an apartment at the 1200 block of Gilmore Avenue. No word yet on the identity of the man or his condition. Today, police identified the woman who was killed in an officer-involved shooting in Lake Hallie Friday. 25-year-old Melissa Abbott of Black River Falls was shot by police after she grabbed a hatchet in a local Walmart and began swinging it around wildly. Authorities report that the officer asked Abbott to put it down several times, but she then lunged at the officer with the hatchet. Abbott was shot once in the leg and once in the abdomen. She died at a nearby hospital just before midnight. Burlington Northern Santa Fe Railway says human error is the cause of a November train derailment that sent more than 20,000 gallons of ethanol into the Mississippi. Packers Hall of Famer Brett Favre is making dreams come true in Waukesha.
Hi. For sure.
She wants a hug. The legendary quarterback signed autographs for fans at Waukesha Sports Card and even gave out a few hugs. Shauna Acker sent that video of Favre and her grandmother, saying it was always her grandma's one wish in life to meet him. Not only did she get to meet him, she got a hug too. After signing autographs yesterday, Favre kept busy today by taking part in the Midwest Athletes Against Childhood Cancer Fund's biggest event of the season, the Trek 100. Even though the event has been running for 40 years, Favre's presence made this year extra special. A dozen or so athletes, all with 4 legs, met in Alaska today to celebrate their retirement. April is National Adopt a Greyhound Month. Every second Saturday of the month at PetSmart in Onalaska, these retired racers and their owners meet to show off the uniqueness of the breed.